Easter Triduum is a 3 days of preparation prior to the feast of Easter. These include the Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. Then Sunday is the day on which Jesus Christ resurrected. The days unfold the mystery of Christ's suffering, death, and resurrection. The Executive Secretary, Department of Doctrine of Faith at the Uganda Catholic Secretariat, Reverend Father Peter Debo, explains more.
Easter Triduum is celebrated because it is the summit, it is the climax of the liturgical year. It runs from the evening of Thursday up to the evening of Easter Sunday. These 3 days are actually liturgically one day, unfolding for us the unity of Christ's Paschal mystery, namely Christ's suffering, his death, and his resurrection are celebrated during this period of 3 days. And all of these are connected events. And the Easter Triduum celebrates exactly this.
The Easter Triduum marks the end of the Latin season and leads to the celebration of the resurrection during the Mass of the Easter Vigil. Father Peter Debo tells us more about the services that take place during the Triduum, which include the Mass of the Lord's Supper. In this, the farewell meal of Jesus Christ and the washing of the feet, signifying service and an institution of the priesthood, are the main events of this Mass.
The Mass of the Lord's Supper, and that is the Mass on Thursday evening. And during this Mass, 2 important events are celebrated or happen. There is the institution of the Eucharist at the Jesus farewell meal together with his disciples. And secondly, there is the washing of feet, and which is symbolic of service, and which is symbolic of the institution of the priesthood. So 2 key events, 2 key celebrations take place during the Thursday evening Mass. Let me repeat, namely the institution of the Eucharist and also the institution of the priesthood. And you also know the 2 are connected.
Good Friday of the Lord's Passion highlights the crucifixion, death, burial, and resurrection as the central elements of the proclamation of our faith.
Triduum is celebration of Good Friday, which is a celebration of the passion of the Lord, the suffering of the Lord. His crucifixion, his death, his burial, and his resurrection. These are central elements of our proclamation. They are also central elements of our salvation. In this celebration of Friday, there are 3 parts. The liturgy of the Word. There is also the veneration of the cross, which is key because the cross is the central mystery of our salvation. And also there is, in this service of Friday, the Eucharist. But that day, let us take note, there is no celebration of Mass, but people participate, people receive the Eucharist that has been consecrated during the Holy Thursday Mass in the evening.
The Mass of the Resurrection of the Lord, Easter Vigil Mass, celebrates fire, light, our salvation, baptism, and resurrection of Christ.
The Mass of the Resurrection, and that is on Saturday evening or Saturday night, and that's what is called Easter Vigil Mass. And here Let us take note. There is the celebration of fire, which is a symbol of defiance, rejection, opposition to night, to darkness. There is a celebration of light, which is a symbol of the resurrected Christ, the risen Lord. There is also the aspect of the reading of our salvation history. You will note that every Easter Vigil Mass we have several readings, and those narrate, they give account of the history of our salvation from the beginning with the creation up to the most recent times, when Christ became a person and died to save us. And in this sacrament, in this liturgy, the Vigil liturgy, there is also the administration of the sacrament of baptism. And this is the liturgy that celebrates the resurrection of Christ.
As we continue with our series of the Holy Week, tomorrow, Reverend Father Peter Debo takes us through the 6 significant symbols of the Easter Triduum. Nora Osende, UCTV News.